Hey everybody, just doing a quick video here. Changed up my build some. Thought I would show you guys what I've done, and ladies, of course. Um, so let's get into it, and I'll show you that. Then I'll run some 7 and 8s. What I'm looking for is more power. We're just looking to hit harder and just trying to, always improve. We're coming up on the end of the season, and we're just looking to improve things. So let's get into some of the changes that I've done. As you can see, I'm still running, of course, the Crest, Terrell's Might, Ring of Starless Skies, and the Grandfather. The one thing that I added was the Fist of Fate. I got a pretty good drop here, so I thought, why not? Really, I've noticed a slight increase in power, or hits. The hits have went up. And the crowd control helps out, and also the lucky hit really helps with the keeping the vulnerable, or the enemies vulnerable there. As you can see, I have a 52% chance on the ring there, and then you add the lucky hit from the Fist of Fate, and also from the Ring of Starless Skies. They almost stay vulnerable all the time. So when the enemy's vulnerable, you're going to do more damage. That's always a bonus. And one other thing, the random apply to the crowd control, that's always a good thing to have. So, anytime you can keep something from hitting you back, that's a bonus. Other than that, the armor's about the same. Only thing I changed was here on my boot, I run exploiters, and that gives me 20% more crowd control duration. And also when enemies are unstoppable, I do 40% increased damage to them with all the crowd control that goes on from the Fist of Fate, and also using challenging strike. The enemies tend to go unstoppable quicker. And also remember in the Horde that unstoppable elites give or they spawn the extra stuff, so you can really mow through those, so it does help. The other armor is basically the same that I've been running. The biggest change that we've done, of course, is to the board, which I will go into that, so bear with me. So we are using exploiter still in the first board, exploit. The difference is that I've cut this back from 7 to 6 boards, and so I'm able to pick up a lot more of the additional stuff. Of course, I do lose some things, but I do believe that my damage is better. As you can see here, I'm 25 of 39, gives me 61.8 additional vulnerable damage. Moving into the next board, which is going to be the Warbringer board, I actually put the Wrath here. And as you can see, I get 49 of 25. And that's actually better than on my previous board that I had. So as you can see, I take all the decks within this board. And it does give me a pretty good boost, about a 15% increase just on this board alone. Then what I do is I exit out and I go over and I do the Carnage board. On this board, I do this one a little bit different. As you can see, I'm using the Twister Glyph. And I'm getting 594% damage increase to my twisters. And anytime I'm 4 seconds after, I get 13% more damage when you're casting twisters. So, it's a good glyph overall. And as you can see, I do take all the strength nodes here in the Carnage board. One thing I decided to do is, because I'm berserking all the time, because I'm one of those knuckleheads that uses the anger management, I did come over, and since I had some extra points, I grabbed the while berserking critical strikes, increase your attack speed by 2%. So up to 16%. So that really helps me out. And since I came this way, I went ahead and grabbed some damage to elite and, of course, the berserking bonus. So we go up. Of course, we grab the berserking like we did on this board every time. And on this next board, this is the Blood Rage board. And what we have here is we have placed the Martial Glyph here. The Martial Glyph basically bonuses the 2 yellow glyphs or gold glyphs you see there, or nodes, magic, whatever they are. and it boosts those up so you get additional stuff. I just take the minimum of 40 points or 40 strength. And of course I do go over and grab the berserking glyphs and the health glyphs. Going on up, the next board's going to be the flawless technique. I take this board and position it in this manner so I can get extra critical strike damage. As you can see, I come in, I go straight over here, I grab these critical strike nodes, which really keeps my critical strike up. And then I come through here, and this has nothing to do with anything. It's the shortest route to get to where I'm going. I mean, it helps out because I do have ear in here, so I get the damage while berserking. And that's what I have here. Of course, I just took the minimum because that's all I need to hit the 300. Actually, I'm like 5% over. But, you know, damage from close is all, or damage reduction from close is always important. So I got that also. Then we take an exit out and we come over, and the next board is going to be the decimator board. And we have the might glyph here. This basically increases the two, or the little blue nodes around it. And it also gives me 8% damage, increased damage while wielding a two-handed weapon. I prefer the mace. I know the Ramanattis is the new thing because it's bugged. I play with a controller, so it's really hard to sit here and pull a sword off, put it back on, then start fighting. And that's what you have to do because it is bugged when you're using it with the talisman, the amulet. And you have to pull it off, put it in, get a screenshot or snapshot it. And I just don't have the patience. I'm too old to be messing with that stuff. So we'll leave that to the computer guys and the into the, you know, important guys. But my damage is doing fairly well. Anyways, I go over and I grab the, of course, the vulnerable damage here, and I also grab the damage reduction when enemies are vulnerable. Remember those gloves I put on, that's really going to boost that vulnerable. So what I'm looking at is that I added some damage and made sure that I grabbed these nodes so I could have some good damage reduction. And of course I do go down and grab, when I make an enemy vulnerable, which should be 90-something% of the time, it's going to increase my damage 10%. And if I overpower, which is going to be very rare, but when I do that, then it goes up another 10%. Over here, I do come over and grab the life nodes. I try to grab as many of those as I can. I just prefer life because it keeps you alive. The last board that, well, actually, that's all the boards I have. I'm so used to having so many. So that's the boards that we are running at this point. There went from 7 to 6. And now what I'll do is I'll show you my skill tree because I did change that up a little bit. These right here, as you know, I don't use a basic skill, so just whatever you want to put there. The same thing for Whirlwind. We're just going back to enhanced Whirlwind. We use a two-handed mace, so the back two would just be wasted points. Here it gives me another 20% on when I hit someone with my core skill, which is Whirlwind. Then it 20% chance to a lucky hit to make them vulnerable. And then of course I have the basic here, imposing presence, Vigor, rallying cry over to strategic. I still use iron skin down. I have the thorns here, and this is for whenever they're bleeding. That helps with the blood rage glyph that I have. Challenging shout, I only took to enhance challenging shout. I did have the tactical, but I don't have an issue with my regen because I have fury on kill and then also fury per second on my boots. So I took that off and used that point over here on Warcry to raise up my damage here. So I added an additional point in here, so now actually it's 2, and I have 11 from my deal, gives me a 33% damage increase, and I do go back to Power Warcry. On this, Booming Voice, just to increase my length of time the shouts are up, and of course Raid Leader that heals me when the shouts are up, and also anyone in my party. I did add 3 points in movement speed because I had 3 points, and actually I enjoyed moving faster. I don't know. And I have aggressive resistance here, 12%, because I'm always going to be berserking when I'm over 40% fury. So that's a good thing. I did drop prolific fury, and the reason why is because my regen's fine on my fury with the additional stuff I had added on my equipment. And unfortunately, I don't have any more good equipment to be able to switch it out, so I switched it here. Just basic stuff from here on out. We have the Pit Fighter at 3, Slay and Strike at 3. We have Thick Skin at 1, and then Counter Offensive at 3. And I'm still running Call of the Agents. Just from everything I've tested, it's just performing better for me. I don't know why. Than Wrath of the Berserker. I've seen hits with everything kicked on of my tornadoes doing 2.200 million. So I've been 220 million, whatever you want to say. So down here, it just seems to be less damage for me. So I don't know what I have or what I'm doing to not get that. Heavy-handed, I have that at 9. And that adds to my critical strike, of course, gives me a 45 multiplicative increase. And then I have Wallop just because I use the two-handed mace, and the extra damage there is, of course, good. Last but not least, I use Unconstrained. All these have been nerfed to the ground, but this one just fits and is better than the other ones. So that's the one I would suggest almost on every build, unless you're running Flay. Flay, you would want to, of course, run Gushian ones, but I don't know. I haven't played Flay this season, so maybe some people are running Unconstrained. All right. So let's go into, last but not least, I guess that goes over the build and the Paragon board where I've made some adjustments. As you can see from the stats, it's about the same. I'm running 4 rubies just because I want some life. I like to have around 50k life. And I run one of the whatever it is, the blue ones, purple ones. Gives me 100 strength. I mean, you could probably run those all the way through. I think if you put those in all the gear, I think it drops your health down to about 40. And then actually will raise your strength up to about 27, 26, 27. Yeah, 2784, almost 2800. So this seemed to be a nice balance for me. I always say play what you like, play what you're comfortable with. Everybody has a different play style, so always do that. I mean, if you're not having fun and you're playing a build that isn't your play style, that's not good at all. Last but not least, I guess what we'll do is we'll do some runs in the Horde. I'll do a tier 7 and a tier 8 just to show you what the build will do and some of the changes. Can't say that I'm the best in the world, but most definitely we give it a shot and we'll see what happens. Oh, I was going to show you my stats before I left, sorry. All right, here's the actual stats that I have. All right, we already went over the strength. Of course, my resistance, the cap here is 85. I like it at 84.6. That's why I don't try to triple roll the Terrell's mod. I do have 89% critical strike chance with a 6,400, 38 percent damage. And whenever I put on the, I usually use this, which gives me 6% more critical strike and 35% more damage. And that puts me at about 95, 96% critical strike. So almost every critical strike or swing that I'm doing is going to critical strike, and I get that extra damage. Of course, I don't use dual wield, so that's a waste. But there's my vulnerable damage. My all damage is 1,636. My damage to physical, as you can see, it does change. It goes from whenever the amulet elements kicks in, goes 7 seconds, and then gives me that extra damage there, which puts me over 200 for physical damage. Berserking damage is at 305%. Thorns is at 10,000. Of course, my life, my armor is way over cap, but I mean, there just isn't nothing I can do about that. These are my damage reductions. I do have 50% in all damage reduction, and this would be as I'm out fighting. Of course, as I fortify, it would go up another, 15%, I believe it is. But, you know, that's going to be cut back because there's penalties the higher you get. But I do have 12%, 19, 27 from close. So, I mean, usually I'm going to be, depending on how I'm getting hit, I'm going to be pretty close to the cap. And, you know, I'll take damage, of course. And some things you're going to always take damage from, but you know, it should be limited from that degree. This is my movement speed. I did increase my movement speed some, you know, just what we're looking at. So we're 171. My cooldown reduction, you know, I can't hit anything 3 times. I'm just not that lucky. I wish I could hit the cooldown on the Harlequin's Crest 3 times, but 2 times was good enough, and I wasn't going to sit there and keep re-rolling and wasting gold. So 39%. As you can see, my lucky hit here is at 75%. And then you figure where I come up with the 95 is because Whirlwind, whenever you're using it, it does have a lucky hit chance. It gives you 35%. So actually it's going to put me up over 100. So that's where that I come up with some of those numbers. A lot of your skills and stuff do give you lucky hit chance. So that's always a bonus. And of course I do have 52% to lucky hit to vulnerable. Cooldown or crowd control durations at 42. Once I start fighting, I get the 20% from my boots, which will put me over 60. Berserking duration, it's just there, something that I grabbed on the board. I didn't go out of my way to grab it because I use anger management on my sword, so it's not something that was that important to me. And of course, all of these are the chances from the Fist of Fury or Fist of Fate, whatever it is up there, that actually gives you the additional chance to do all these items. Okay, that's one thing I wanted to show you, is because I used to have anger management on my gloves, but I found these gloves are actually doing more damage after I did some testing and actually got a good pair. So I took off and I added Fury here, and I moved off the devilish aspect. And the reason that I decided to move that off is because that was the aspect that was chosen to be moved when people were using the Ramalati, or however you say that thing. That sword, which is, where's this sword at? Here it is. It's this sword here. That was the aspect that everyone was taking off, so I figured I would just take that off and replace it with anger management there. And I saw a slight decrease in damage, but it wasn't anything noticeable. And when I added the gloves and the consideration that I was constantly berserking, it made sense. So I don't know. You do what you want to do, but like I said, that's the actual sword that people are using. And you have to, I don't know, I use a joystick here or a controller. So you have to put it on and then take it off in order to get it to work with the, I actually don't have the amulet, but it's way too much for this old guy. So I just was like, I'm not going to go that route. I'm just going to rework what I have here. So now we'll go run some hordes, and you can see the actual build and some of the changes that I've done actually in play. What we'll do is we'll run a tier 7 first, and then we will run a tier 8 right after this, and I'll let you be the judge, and I think it's a pretty good improvement, but you know, everyone has an opinion, of course. I didn't put on my potion. Alright, this is the tier 7. I'm just going to throw on my potion here real fast. 95.7, 65.9, and actually that's a pretty good drop. At one point I was up to 7,500 or critical strike damage, but I decided to sacrifice some of that for what I've done now, and I think it was well worth it. I think I was a little top heavy on the critical strike damage. Alright, here we go. Enjoy. Oh yeah, I was going to say also, I usually try not to talk when I'm fighting because I'll end up dying and not, kind of like squirrel, you know. Anyways, I was going to say I actually got, or put this on a build planner on D4, and I'll try to put that in the description or somewhere on the page for the actual planner itself if you want to take a look at it. And like I said, feel free to modify or do whatever you want to do with it. But I know on my YouTube channel, it's right 1974 also. I'll be able to post that in the actual description. So if you want to check out the build, it's on, what is it? The site is d4builds.gg. And it's right 1974, so. And of course, if you're in any of the chats, I've been putting it in there because, you know, it's just what I do. Besides talk crap. Nothing like to feel. Overall, the twister damage is one thing that I like. Before I was about 500%, and now that it's near 600, it just feels like it's clearing things a little bit easier, a little bit more damage. And I know from the test dummy stuff I was testing, like I said, it was hitting for over 200 million, which is solid. It's not the best, but it is pretty solid compared to where I was. I know that some people have asked me what's my strategy in this thing. It's basically try to kill everything and pick the right stuff. ADHD, I don't really come up with a strategy. I just go to where the enemy is and kill him. That's pretty much my whole game. I just don't have a strategy. Everything's around elites or hellfire, hellborn. Anything else is not good. From what I've seen, anyways, I read. But like I said, if you enjoy the other ones, man, do what you have fun doing. It's not always about getting the most. You could do 2 of them and get just as many. It's about having fun and enjoy yourself. And also enjoying company. 52 after 3. That's impressive. Oh, 56. Great. Well, at least now, but maybe we'll get some Hellboard. Much spawning. What a delay. I don't know what that was. Hellbourne damage. They're hunting me. I think the first thing we're going to do is get them spawning. I guess I could have took the elite, but oh well. You can really pack up the points on the elites because they come at 2 if you could get the right ones to spawn. So instead of 1 for Hellbourne, getting 2 of the elites really supposedly piles up stuff. Of course, I'm not playing the best build of the season, so the sorcerer is really good points. And which is odd because I thought about playing a sorcerer, and I thought, no, I'm just going to stay with the bard. Season the barb was at the bottom of the bottom, so but I've enjoyed playing it and actually gave it a challenge. You know, in the seasons in the past, I'd run around and just hit stuff with my hammer and it would die in one hit. That sort of gets boring after a while. I know everybody thinks it's fun, but it does get boring. That's why I was glad Whirlwind actually came up with a build. I used to love my Whirlwind Horde build. Was that season 3 or something? That was a lot of fun. And then, of course, last season we went Bash and then Whirlwind a little bit, and, you know, started coming back, and that made it interesting to say the least. But, you know, playing Bash where I was just pushing one button, oh, that was horrible. It was boring. I mean, you could kill anything, but it wasn't as exciting as being able to zip around, shoot things, do different things. Hopefully we start getting some ether, whatever the heck it is. Sorry. I was looking at the stream. Alright, let's keep this going here. So we have to pick it up. So we're taking this one. At least get the events hopefully to spawn faster. You know, whenever I'm leveling individuals, I just leveled my buddy or son. He has a druid, and I just leveled him, and I was leveling him in here. And one of the main keys is I try to tell him is just to keep moving. There's too many monsters at a small place, and if you stand there and try to tank them all, they're going to end up getting you. You're going to get one shot. So something crazy is going to happen. So I always try to tell people, especially if you're coming in here, people are leveling you, just to keep moving. That's the deal. Is run. You fight, run, and just do the best you can. It was pretty fun doing that, and he's been playing the game. He made a storm slide druid, and he's been having a lot of fun playing it. So that was interesting. It actually took, using the hordes and everything, I think it only took about 6 hours to leveling from 0 or level 1 to 100. So that was a pretty quick turnaround that we did over the weekend. And then got him geared up, and everything just is so quick now. That's why I wish they'd make it just a little bit tougher, or add a tier 5 on here. You know, give us something where that's a little bit of a challenge. I understand that most casual players, you know, don't like a challenge, or, you know, don't have time to suit up like a lot of people do. I can't even suit up like a lot of those individuals do that I see. But, you know, having a challenge is always fun. That's why you play a game. I mean, even in Mario, when you think back, there was some challenge that you just had to figure out that you couldn't do. So that's what always makes these type of things fun to me anyways. Just trying to figure out how you can get better, how you can beat things. So running around and just one-shot everything just isn't fun to do. But sometimes it is. You know, sometimes you get that ego trip going. And you just want to one-shot everything, so. But after you do it for, you know, what, 3 months, it sort of gets boring. Oh, that's a horrible one. 456. That's not good at all. The most I've ever gotten is 800. So, this is way off pace. I think I just did one before I came on and recorded, testing the build, and I got like 790. So, of course, anyone that knows anything about Barbarian knows that Whirlwind is not a you're going to kill the bosses in 2 seconds type of build like it used to be. But not too shabby, I would say. Alright, let's collect our stuff here, and then we'll do an 8. What did I get here? Got a 2-star something. 3 to brawling skills, strength. If you can't get Warcry, that's not a bad option. And nothing else I would use, but I'll keep those. I have so many of the upgrade materials that I just try my luck on the equipment. I always suggest if you're trying to upgrade your equipment to 12, or you get a new piece of equipment, go ahead and grab the materials chest. Just get all materials, because that's going to give you, especially when you're leveling up, that's going to give you your gems, and also your materials to level up. As you can see, I have over 8,000 of the top one, 2,000 of the next one, and the last one I have 1,200. But when you're leveling up, these gems here are, you know, pretty important in order to increase your health, your stats, and just help you survive. So usually what I do is I buy a full chest, you know, full bag, and then I'll get the rest of it with this. And it all just piles up in case I get another piece of gear that I need to upgrade, or if I want to change my build. Which, this is a short season, I doubt if I'll change it again. Really wish I'd put a select all. Do you want to buy one, or do you want to buy 10? But one thing Blizzard loves is time sinks. Whatever can keep you on this game longer, they love it. And this is just one more thing for you to sit here and push this freaking chest for them to be able to keep you on there. Alright, let's go sell this stuff real fast, and we'll do a tier 8 and see how we do on that one. I actually haven't, I don't think I've ran a tier 8 since I changed this build. See, I was going to keep those boots. I don't think... Use it right now. I'm at the point where I'm only keeping 2 and 3 star stuff, and I'll keep some 1-star stuff if it looks interesting, just in case I have a friend or a guild mate or clan mate, or, you know, a friend that actually needs something, that I may have something that could help about.
Need something forged? Came apart nicely.
Alright, let's start this up. Alright, so here we go on a tier 8. See how it does. If I die, don't laugh. Nah, you can laugh. I wouldn't. Whoever's been playing with me knows I die. Oh, too much fun. Sometimes you just die for stupid stuff. And you just have to laugh. Luckily, we don't have to put quarters in this thing to keep playing. Unless you're on hardcore, then I could see that being a... You don't want to die there. That would suck. Whew, gonna get carpal tunnel for pushing this butt, boy. Hellborn or Hunt Mew? Should I go with the elite? Yeah, let's start off with the Hellborn, then we'll get to the elite. At least get them out on the board. Even though they are a little bit tougher than 8. Of course, everything's a little tougher than 8. Come on. Dude, look, you could see stuff getting stunned. You can see stuff freezing. And that's actually from those gloves. So I always thought that was pretty cool. I especially like the freeze because I came to play it originally when I started a rogue. And whenever they used the rapid fire with the freeze here recently, I like that. That was pretty cool. Of course, I had a rogue last season, but I didn't play her too much. I was busy playing the pits with my Barbarian, but just as a matter of fact, last season I actually put freeze on my Whirlwind Barbarian, so I was freezing stuff. Take this one. What I want to do is the one that I really like I said, is the elites become unstoppable, and so that really helps with my damage. But they do become unstoppable with the crowd control stuff we put on from the gloves, and then just the challenging shout. Well, we're going with this. I don't care for it, but I just don't want to mess with the other ones. Hate the soul spires. It takes so long to fill them up to get them to knock down for no real reward. And of course, these guys right here are one-shot you if you're not careful. I'll try to take them out pretty quick. As you can see, I do use the iron skin quite often. Nearly died there from that explosion. But it's like an extra potion, and then I get the 35%. I go unstoppable and get the 35% damage reduction from it, so that most definitely is a bonus. But I don't know why, but it's easier. Instead of hitting a potion, it's just easier to hit B. Even though potion's just another button. But, you know, you could trade it out for, stomp or something like that. That would do more damage. But I just find it beneficial to have it. A lot of people prefer, stomp and use the rumble glyph at the board, which that's great. I like watching my buddy Grim. He actually tries a whole bunch of different builds, just try to figure out new stuff. And so I talk to him quite often and, just try to actually look at his build to see what he's trying to do. It's always interesting to watch him. I usually try to stay with what works for me or, what I like. And I'm sure he does too, but, he's more adventurous and trying different things, so that's always cool. sure don't want... This is probably one of the last ones you want. Those lords, it's like everything stops spotted and it takes forever to kill those things. I would never suggest taking that. A pretty good mess of them there. Another good group. If they would just make these dust devils, or that they would track the enemies, so even the druids don't drift off like the barbarians do. But if they would make them like the sorcerers, what lightning spear, that would be awesome. But we couldn't have that. Barbarians aren't allowed to have stuff like that. Alright. Somebody's mad. One thing I do miss from last season was the bleed. I wish they wouldn't have nerfed that into the ground, because that was always interesting to be able to hit this guy, drift off, and then just sit there and let the bleed kill him out. But they've nerfed it so bad that, you know, while it has a little bit of viability and you really have to spec in it like with play for like a Whirlwind using Berserk Ripping, it's just not that great this season, and that's a shame. Because it was fun to play that. Just scoot through this trash, hit it once, and just let it bleed out. Okay, well, we don't want this one, or this one for sure. So I guess we're gonna take that one. Six, seven of them?
Not ready yet.
Not too shabby. And see if we can get a few more points here. These events, maybe more Hellborn will spawn. be the last one. Of course. Well, at least this one's a drive-by. Sort of. Not really an 8, but better than those soul spears. Especially the lords. Good food. Let's get these other ones over here too. Oh, here comes some more. I like that. Alright. 738, that's actually not too shabby. That's better than the 7 that I just did where I got 400. It's all about the draw. Get lucky or you don't. Actually, I might end up with close to 800. See if we can get them grouped up here in the middle. And I don't think those two on the outside are going to come in.
Ready yet.
There we go. Now we put one away. Come over here. There we go. Oh, we got all 3 of them here. That's good. Oh, of course. One's going to leave, of course. The one good thing about these gloves is that crowd control stuff that it does. It really helps with one of the issues that a Barbarian has. That's being able to stagger the bosses. Their stagger meter goes up a little bit more because you're usually, you have a real good chance of hitting hitting them with it. It doesn't affect them, but it helps with the stagger. So when they do stagger, that's whenever you can actually do more damage to the bosses. Fingers are getting tired. At least my thumb. Alright. Ah, 798. Close. So we get out of this one. And to save time, I'll just grab the rest of this in gold, and we'll see how much gold we actually get for 738 of these things. Right now I have 799. So right at 3.8 billion. So let's see how much we get. I don't know if that was anything, but man, it's over what? 159 billion or 159 million for 738. I guess if you need some gold, that's a pretty good hunk of change. That actually shocked me. I've never cashed in that many before. 159 million, probably 160 when you think I was probably about $1 million short. Well, a little less than $1 million. It's not bad at all. See what gear we got here. 2-star. Wouldn't be bad for someone that's using an axe, but I don't use axes. Matter of fact, I'm not sure I know anybody that does. Which is sad. They really should make the axe, you know, something that is viable. .666 maximum life. Huh. 6% lucky chance. 16%. A lot of sixes. They are fascinated with that, aren't they? Hammer the Ancients. 3 seasons ago, or 2 seasons ago, that was good. 3 seasons ago, it was really good. Then they tried to nerf it and didn't nerf it enough that over-nerfed it. All right.
Father bless.
Well, that's the new build that I put together. I'm sure that I'll be running with my druid friend at some point, and I'll record that. So, as always, I appreciate everyone watching, and tune in the future. And as I said, we will be running with the druid and hopefully doing pretty good. Anyways, I hope everyone has a good rest of your night, and I appreciate you taking and spending this hour with me. And thank you for watching. And I'm going to post the build guide actually on my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, it's right 1974. That's my username. Diablo, it's basically the same setup as my Twitch. I just take the videos from here and post them on there. I'm on Xbox, so I really can't do live on YouTube, but I most definitely do take the videos and post them there. And I can actually leave comment. Well, I can probably put in the comments here or in the chat. Well, the chat goes away. Anyways, I'll just post it on YouTube, and if you want to see the build, it's on d4builds.gg, and right 174 is the is my name, which is what the build's listed under. Anyways, as I said, I appreciate everyone watching, and I hope you have a good night, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.